let's talk about it the way it actually is on the release.
And so it laid the groundwork to, well, let's keep going with some Ted and Kevin stuff. And so Loyal had kind of come around to where, ironically, what was going on, there was some things at that time. I think that's when we were negotiating stuff and things were going down, and there's always our differences. And so Loyal, here was this music and it was Loyal. Well, I was playing off of kind of the things that we were going off of, and you know, the simplicity of it is that we all want that, you know, and we want that loyalty as human beings. And sometimes we have it. It's almost like we think it's destiny when we meet somebody, you know, and we set these parameters at the beginning of it, you know, and here's an established foundation of friendship, which will eventually turn into this loyalty. Well, and that's where the line at the end of where I said, what was it we said in the beginning till the end? You know, I will be loyal. Where's my friend? You know, I thought that this was established. And so it was kind of to play out, you know, along those lines of what happens. There was a little bit of that going on, I will admit. You know, I was playing off of some of the emotion on that lyric and what we were going through, but it was just one of the normal things, but it was good. Food for fodder. You did a great job.
That song was inspired. I had just actually come back from the 35th anniversary segment with Alan in Japan. There was some strife going on. I think everyone realizes what happened to Yes after that. And there was a lot of pressure going on. You know, my heart went out to Alan. Some of the stuff that Alan has endured in my favorite band of all time. But some of the stuff that Alan has had to endure to keep that band together, my heart goes out to him. No one knows how important Alan White was to keeping that train on time. And I saw firsthand during the 35th anniversary tour the pressures that Alan was going through. Alan was put in some pretty bad spots by some of the other members of the band. And the loyal aspect for me is I looked at what happened when you start having that type of pressure put on, and how loyalties can be questioned, how loyalties that you might never expect could be under duress, can be under serious duress. So when I came back, you know, Kevin and I talked about this, and I picked up the acoustic and started the opening part. I was sitting down thinking about that, thinking about loyalty, and how it was, again, written in a tongue-in-cheek. It really has nothing to do with loyalty. It's loyalty in question. It's the loss of loyalty is really what loyal is about. Typically, as with anything, when you see a particular label, you think, oh, so it means everyone's loyal. Or, you know, the reason I wanted the record to be called Loyal was really to emphasize Alan's loyalty to Yes. That guy has been there for going on 5 decades, and what he has endured to keep that train running, no one knows. People should know. My heart goes out to Alan White and his strength. But we came back and started writing the song. I let Kevin kind of know what it was about, and that whole sadness, that single cello with the acoustic guitar, the percussion that's happening there, and Kevin kind of talking about loyalty in a wide open sense. That to me is really special. The segment, when it actually then breaks into the guitar solo, and this is written as a 4-piece, I'm doing the lead guitar on this as well, it's really that release of the pressure and just the explosion that can happen when any group is under that kind of dynamic pressure. And I will honestly say that pressure was hitting Kevin and I, and was starting to affect that version of White in very much a Yesy way. You know, when I was a kid, first Yes record was Drama. And here I was, I had someone that once told me, careful what you wish for. Life couldn't be truer than that. Careful what you wish for. Here I was working with Yes, and we were already planning the More Drama tour at that time. There was competing management bidding for our favor, competing tour plans and business plans, and money being put out in different configuration as to who was important. important and pecking orders. All this stuff was putting a huge amount of pressure. And loyalties were stressed. That's really what the song was. And so that, hit where the drums come in, and again, Alan White's rhythm when the solo comes up, and Steve Boyce being so high up on the bass guitar, that tension and that groove, wow, that's something else. And for me, it's one of the highlights on Loyal. And then the lyrics that you wrote, Kevin, just fantastic. I think I got to contribute to some of the backing vocals. What was it you said from the beginning to the end? I remember you and I writing that together, but you just took that and completely captured the essence. And of course you were experiencing it as well.
All I can say is, where's my friend? It's kind of like, how does that get lost?
True.
In reality, and we all need to look at that sometimes, of what is it for to begin with, then, in the end. But where is my friend? Yeah. I love that song.
Yeah. When Karl and I did the solos in Loyal, Karl and I do a back and forth, and we actually rehearsed them right over here. Karl and I went through and figured out who's going to do the harmony, who's going to go high, who's going to go low, and Karl and I choreographed that so much that the stuff that's sitting on YouTube is our rehearsals. When you listen to White Songs, that's our live performance. Pretty close, a couple differences, but some of the stuff I'm doing note for note, some of the stuff Karl's doing note for note. We really lock that stuff in. And when you do production like we were doing, which was influenced heavily by Yes, you have to do that kind of work. And that's what we did. We spent a bunch of smaller rehearsals, some individual rehearsals. Mm-hmm. We broke out to some of the parts where we played live. And then we actually finally went to a place, sadly no longer exists, called Synergy in Redmond, which is about 3 miles away from here. And we set up over a 2-week period, and we actually even had some recordings, so we could listen to our progress. We could record, play all the songs, figure stuff out. We're essentially knitting all of the previous work together in a 2-week period with a 5-day break in the middle of it, I think, so that we could have time for each of us to adjust our individual weaknesses. And then we would sit down in the mornings, some or all of us would sit down and we'd listen to, hey, how do we sound? How do we sound from an audience point of view? And we went and did all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, we ended up going, we played at, what was it called? It was called the
Phoenix. It was the new Phoenix.
Yeah, but they called it something else at the time.
The Premiere.
The Premiere, that's right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The Premiere.
And it was our premiere at the Premiere.
Mm-hmm. And it was good.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I think the songs sound great. I think the band was fantastic.
It was tight.
Yeah.
The band was tight. But where is my